So Dana White went live last night, dropped a lot of new things. We got new fights, new signings, and people dropping out, people stepping in. A lot of things happened last night. Obviously, you see me now. I'm a little bit late to the action. I just didn't have time to come on here and record this video, but now I'm here. I'm here to give my reactions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But anyways, let's hop into the most important thing, in my opinion, and that is going to be Ilia Topuria vacating his title. Ilia Topuria has now vacated his title, and I guess he's moving up to 55. Now, as you can see from the thumbnail, in my opinion, I think we're going to get him versus Makhachev. The UFC loves money fights. This is a massive, massive fight. Now, we just saw Dagestan versus Georgia 1. We got Dagestan versus Georgia 2. And as a Georgian myself, maybe not from the country of Georgia, but I am from the state of Georgia, you know what I mean? So, I'm going with the Georgians, man. I think Ilia Topuria's got it in the bag. Now, there's a lot of Makhachev fans, and even Makhachev himself talking about how he doesn't want to fight the little guys, the featherweights, because it doesn't, give him a good legacy. And I want to say to that, why are you disregarding fighters like that, right? Alexander Volkanovski is, one of the best fighters ever, right? He's just a top 10 fighter. He really is. And to have a close fight with him does not mean anything bad. And for the people that are saying these kind of things, oh, Makhachev's fighting featherweights, they're idiots too. But specifically, I've seen a lot of complaining from the fans of Islam Makhachev, and I don't think Islam's complaining himself, but saying that Ilia, or he doesn't want to fight another featherweight. If he beats Ilia Topuria, it's a better win than beating fucking Charles again. I don't care what anybody says. It's a better win than beating Gaethje. It's a better win than beating Charles. Now, I don't know if I can necessarily say it's a better win than Sarukian, but it's right there. It's right there with it. So, I will go out on a limb and say this. Like, people that are saying Makhachev, was only fighting featherweights, they're idiots, man. They're idiots because Topuria is very, very good. Very good skill set, right? Sarukian, along with Topuria, are huge wins for somebody's legacy. Now, if Makhachev wants to move up and fight Belal, Belal's my boy, go ahead and do it, right? Stop complaining, saying, oh, Belal's champ. I know Belal doesn't really want to fight Makhachev either, but if that fight happens, he's going to lose. Belal would beat him. Simple. What is Islam going to do? He can't go to the wrestling, and Belal's going to pressure him, beat him inside that clinch, drown him, take him to the deep end. And he wouldn't win that fight, so he might as well stay down here and fight Ilia, right? And I think that's what they're going to do. I'm thinking International Fight Week, we're going to see this fight. I'm pumped. I'm very pumped. I kind of wish Ilia would fight a little bit more. He has, what did he fight twice last year, and on his way to fighting once this year. But that's going to be a huge fight. I would imagine they're going to do it. Anyways, let's hop into the next the next fights that are happening, and I already am on the second one for some reason, but the first one, obviously with the title being vacant, we got a new title fight, which is going to be Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopes. I'm going to be honest, not huge on Diego Lopes. I've been very, very open about it. I'm not huge on the guy. I don't think, he's a title challenger or let alone even close to being a champion. I think when it comes to his past performances, you can tell he's not a champion. He's not a championship level fighter. Volkanovski is. I know he's a little bit older. I don't know. I think he's 36, but I think Volk can get the belt back easily. Diego Lopes, he's powerful. He's got a good submission game and good grappling game. You can automatically throw that out the window in this fight. There's no point of even talking about the grappling side of things for Diego Lopes because he won't be able to get it going. Volkanovski, one, is not going to take him down. And Diego Lopes' offensive wrestling, it's not the best. He's able to get Dan Ige down. Dan Ige doesn't have takedown defense like Volkanovski does. So, automatically to me, you can kind of just say, we're not talking about wrestling, grappling in this fight. I think it's going to be straight up on the feet. And I think that if we're talking going striker for striker here, it's really not close. The guy with better technique, better footwork, a better striker, better volume, is he absolutely Alexander Volkanovski. Now, Diego Lopes is dangerous with the hands. He hits damn hard. He's got a decent little calf kick. But other than that, man, there's nothing else to worry about. He's powerful, sure. His technique is ass on the feet, and the most important thing is he gasses out. So pretty much, in front of a guy like Volkanovski, who, one, is not going to gas out, and two, is going to put the fucking volume on you. It kind of is a bad recipe for Lopes, and I'm surprised. I saw this line open at like minus 180 for Volkanovski. I think it should be minus 300. I really think he's, unless Lopes catches him, Lopes is going to get torn up. The jab, the straights, the angles that Volkanovski is able to use. Lopes has never seen anything like it, to be completely honest with you. And obviously, man, you can see in the third and second round, he gasses out. This is a 5-round fight. This should be all day, every day, Alexander Volkanovski winning this fight unless he gets, chinned. I don't see this fight hitting a decision and going Diego Lopes's way. If it does, I'd be shocked. But this should be an easy fight for Volk. I trust him to get this one done. And I'm, sitting at minus 200, man. Go ahead and I'll drop my house on it. I don't have a house. But anyways, next up, the next fight. The co-main, if I'm not mistaken on this one. Hold on a second here. Sorry, I just had to do that. But anyways, the next one up is going to be Paddy Pimblett taking on Michael Chandler. This fight was talked about a little bit, and now it's finally booked. I don't know if it's 5 rounds. I wish I would have looked it up. If it's 5 rounds, I'm still going with Michael Chandler. Now, Paddy Pimblett, he ain't a bad fighter. He's not a good fighter. I still think we are overrating him, right? Yeah, he beat Bobby Green. Bobby Green shot for a takedown. Just stupid of him. And great transition from Paddy. Whatever, man. I don't care. The dude's not that good, man. He really isn't. Jared Gordon completely exposed him. He's standing in front of somebody like Michael Chandler, who I believe is an underdog at this point, which I don't know, man. Michael Chandler has got a ton of heart. He's a ton of heart. He hits hard. Not a bad striker. Obviously, he's dynamic. He's fast. He's explosive. And I think that gives Paddy a lot of problems. Because another thing about Chandler is, he could take a beating. And he doesn't really slow down. Now, if you think that Paddy Pimblett's going to come in with this offensive wrestling game plan similar to what Charles Oliveira was able to do, come on. Don't even, disrespect Oliveira like that, man. Paddy Pimblett ain't shooting no takedowns. If he is, he's not getting it, right? Michael Chandler was getting taken down by Oliveira. Oliveira is an experienced grappler and very good grappler, right? He looked fantastic in that fight, did Oliveira. I wouldn't expect that Paddy can even get Chandler to the ground. I'd be surprised if he got him in a submission. But let's not forget, man, Paddy has no gas tank either, right? Tony Ferguson, after Tony was able to survive early, where he got rocked a couple times, Paddy was gassed. He was gassed in the Gordon fight. This dude doesn't have a good gas tank. He doesn't have good striking technique. His chin is high. I don't really know why we're seeing Michael Chandler at an underdog spot here. I think that this is free. On the Chandler side, man. When you look at Paddy, you see the last performance where he transitioned into a beautiful submission. It's kind of like you're kind of just, I don't know how to say it, but it's not going to happen here is what I'm trying to say. It's not going to happen here. I don't see that playing out. I don't see it playing out that way whatsoever. And I see Michael Chandler knocking Paddy the fuck out. And I think that's how it's going to go. So I probably lean early on towards the side of Paddy or Michael Chandler. I think he gets it done easily. Next up, we got the UFC 315 main event. My guy, Belal Muhammad, will now take on Jack Della Maddalena. Look, man, Jack Della Maddalena is in my top 10. I like his fight style. I like him as a fighter. Belal's my guy. He's my number one. There's no way I'm picking against him. And I think that, obviously, like I said, I like both of these guys a lot. Top 10 fighters, both of them are. And it sucks that we have to see this matchup, but we're going to defend our belt here. I think that Belal gets it done, man. I do. I know Belal's sitting at minus 200 in this matchup. I think that they're giving Belal the respect he deserves. But at the same time, I think Maddalena is still a dangerous dude. And he even at that number, is valuable. Because obviously, the dude, has been taken down by Burns, Hold on, let me talk about that Burns fight. Okay, if you really thought that Gilbert Burns was up in that fight, I saw him get some award, did Maddalena, comeback of the year. Are we fucking serious, man? What is he coming back from? He was winning the fight. So, for them to even say that was comeback of the year makes me cringe, man. It's like, what are you talking about? Comeback of the year, Maddalena was up in that fight. He was on his way to winning. And I know the scorecard said different, but Gilbert Burns maybe landed 10 shots and stood or held him on the ground, did nothing. So I just wanted to address that real quick because that's the kind of stuff that just makes me mad, makes me upset because Madalena was clearly ahead, man, clearly. And I know he's gotten taken down by Hafez, gotten taken down by Burns, obviously, and he's in front of a guy like Muhammad who, one, has a better gas tank than Burns and can keep on going, good pressure, and he's got good kicks as well. I would expect him in this fight to be able to kick Madalena, try to kick him, keep him off, and front kicks up the middle, try to get Jack Della Maddalena away from that body, and I would expect Madalena to try to get inside that pocket area, defend those takedowns, get up immediately back on the pressure. But the thing is, like, Belal's not going to gas out, right? He's got a very good gas tank. I think it's a bad matchup for Madalena. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased here, so maybe don't take everything I'm saying so serious. But overall, I really do feel like it is a bad matchup because he's not a Gilbert Burns who's going to get up and kind of want to take a break and step off the gas. He's not going to do that. Belal's not going to do that. And Madalena kind of wants that to happen. And he's able to do that to a lot of fighters, but this just isn't a guy that he's going to be able to do it to. So I think that Belal's able to get Madalena to the mat in this fight. But I definitely don't think that, I know Madalena's no 5-round experience, but his cardio's looked fantastic throughout his career. Great volume. He is a great volume pressure boxer. I love his game, but it's a tough matchup here, and I think that Belal gets it done with that wrestling, with that grappling, where we've seen Madalena struggle a little bit, and on the feet, uses the kicks, stays out of the danger area of the pocket, and gets it done, man. I love my boy Belal to get it done here, man. The co-main event is going to be Manon Fiorot taking on Manon Fiorot, I think that's how you say it, Valentina Shevchenko. I know Manon opened up as a favorite here. I don't like it. I think that the difference between Erin Blanchfield or Valentina Shevchenko is the ability to mix in the wrestling, mix in the grappling with the setting it up with the strikes, and that's something that Valentina really does a good job at. Her grappling has come so far. She's a fantastic grappler. You saw her absolutely dominate Alexa Grasso, and maybe not the most impressive performance where Grasso was playing the fucking guard game. That's her fault, right? Valentina was on top, defending submissions, and looked solid. She's got fast kicks. I know she's a little bit older now, but I would expect her to get this one done. Manon, great on the feet. She's got good takedown defense, but I would expect that Shevchenko's going to be able to get her to the mat. Shevchenko slides in with those takedown entries. They're quick, they're explosive, and she sets them up. She's still fast with the kicks. I would say Manon is bigger, stronger, more finishing ability for Manon here, but I'm going with the veteran, man. I'm going with the veteran, Valentina Shevchenko, one of the best fighters or WMA fighters ever. I think she gets it done against the Frenchie. Next up, oh man, Leon Edwards is now taking on Sean Brady for the UFC main event in London. I don't know when this fight is. I think it's after UFC 313, so that's 3 weeks. I don't know how long Sean Brady has known about this fight and has been able to prepare about this fight, because why I talk about the preparation time for Sean Brady is his gas tank. I don't like his gas tank. This is a 5-round fight. He's gassed out before. He gassed out against Michael Chiesa, my bad. And he has had some issues with the gas tank. Obviously against Belal, he kind of gassed out as well. Or he did gas out as well. And that's going to be a problem here if he's not able to push the pace like he did in that fight versus Gilbert Burns, which is one of the most overlooked performances. I think that was easily one of the most impressive performances we've seen in 2024. I mean, Gilbert Burns has never been controlled on the mat like that. Khamzat Chimaev wasn't even able to do that to him. So for Sean Brady to come out there and be able to rack up that amount of control time on Gilbert Burns was very impressive. I know it's a little bit of an older Burns, but still, man, very, very impressive. Getting a 50-45 over Gilbert Burns. Only one other person I think was able to do that, and that's Belal. Right, that's who it is. Both of these guys' fathers. Belal is Leon and Brady's father, right? So yeah, man. Obviously, very good grappler. I would go out and say that I believe that Sean Brady is the best grappler in this division. I do think that he's very underrated and he's very, very good there. But anyways, he's taking on Edwards. A bit of an interesting fight, a bit of an interesting one. It's not a dangerous fight for Edwards like a Madalena is, and it's different preparation. Obviously, because Edwards was preparing to probably take Madalena down, honestly, and preparing to strike. And now he's taking on a pure offensive-minded, very good grappler. Edwards does have good takedown defense, and he struggled with the pressure of Belal, and the pressure of Belal landing shots and mixing in those takedowns. Sean Brady does not do as good of a job as a guy like Belal when it comes to that. But I do believe that, honestly, I will say this, Sean Brady, I think, is a better grappler than Belal. Brady's submissions game is great. His ability to wear on you is great. And if that Leon Edwards shows up that showed up against Belal, man, I know he bitched and complained about the whatever he talked about. What was he talking about? Edwards was the time or whatever, just stupid. If he shows up like that, man, he's gonna get his ass kicked because Brady is a beast on the mat, and I don't know if he'll necessarily get the finish here. But I think it's a tight fight. I do think it's a tight fight. I would lean towards a 3-2 Brady. I think that Brady controls it early, and then going into the later rounds, he does start to fade a little bit. But he's in front of Leon, who can't finish anybody. So it's not a huge deal that if he fades a little bit, because Leon doesn't have no finishing ability whatsoever. So I do think that it's a close fight. I would probably lean towards the side of Sean Brady. Obviously, like I said, I don't know how much preparation he's had for this fight, because if he hasn't been training, I do worry about that gas tank. And if Leon's able to stuff a couple of them and get up to his feet, which he does a pretty good job he should be able to have some success. So it's a tight fight. But I am going to lean towards Sean Brady because I really do think very, very highly of his grappling. So let's move on to the next one, which is going to be breaking news. I like this, breaking news. Yair Rodriguez versus Pitbull. I don't even know this dude's name. Now, I don't know much about this guy. I might get flamed in the comments, and, I know so much about Cody Brundage, but I don't know anything about Pitbull, right? I don't know. I know he's beaten Chandler, but I haven't seen the guy fight. I know he's a little bit older. I think he's like 37. I know he's a two-weight champion, but I've never seen him fight aside from Chandler, like a highlight reel of him knocking Chandler out. That's probably the only thing I've seen of him. And obviously I'm going to have to do some film on him, but I know he's a striker who wants to knock you out, and he's powerful. He's in front of Yair Rodriguez. Look, man, these Bellator dudes, they got to come in here, show us those levels. They got to show us the levels in previous attempts with the Bellator guys, other than Carlos Leal. I'm joking, but they haven't done well against UFC fighters. He's at 145. I didn't know that. He's probably gonna have a hard weight cut. Yair's dynamic, good footwork, fast, very fast, and he hasn't fought in a long time. I think last time he fought was at Ortega in Mexico? Damn, that was a while ago. That was a long time ago, actually. Very long time ago. But he's back. And I'm going to go with Yair. I think the kicks from the outside, the stance switches, the footwork of Yair is still good. I think Yair is still a good fighter. I don't know much about Pitbull's ground game. But if this fight is on the feet, I would expect Yair to go out there and win this one. So don't flame me for this one. I'm sorry. I apologize. But the last one, UFC Miami, another fight added, which was hinted at as well, is going to be Geoff Neal taking on Carlos Prates. I love this fight. I love this fight, and you know what you're going to get? You're going to get a guy like Neal who wants to get on the inside. He wants to get on the inside, get inside of that pocket area, and be able to land his shots. Prates, from the outside, very good, but he's powerful. He sets up his shots really, really well, and one thing that Neal's got to be very, very careful of is that knee. That knee coming forward, especially in that southpaw position, that the southpaw orthodox fight, Prates is he's going to be looking for that. He's going to be looking for that knee, the front kick. Prates is a good fighter. Neal's a durable dude. I really want to think that Neal gets it done. I want to think that Neal gets it done. I love the hands on Geoff Neal. He's a very solid boxer. Good fighter, and I'm still sad we never got to see him take on Jack Della, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But I love this fight, man. It's a big step up for Prates. Obviously he's got a bunch of first-round finishes in a row. Charles Radke is a win that's aging very, very well for him, where he just broke him down, man. He's an intimidating dude as Prates. Li Jingliang, another win there. Doesn't do that much for me, but he did look incredible. Neil Magny, another one. Brady doesn't do much for me as well. This is a huge step up. And I think it's a tough fight for Prates. And Prates isn't like a guy like Ian Gary, who's able to take that approach of using that footwork around the octagon. He is a more stationary fighter. You know what I mean? He might do that, but I don't think his footwork is as fast as a guy like Gary, who's able to move around that octagon in that sort of way, because Prates is, as you could see from the tattoo on his chest, it's Muay Thai, right? Muay Thai guys don't typically use that footwork to dance around the octagon. And that's what gives Neal problems. And we'll see, man. Prates has shown how good he is. Geoff Neal's coming off a win over Rafael Dos Anjos, where Dos Anjos got hurt, I believe. And I love this fight. I'm excited to see it. I'm going to lean towards the side of Geoff Neal, but I know Prates has been killing people. But I like Neal, man. I like him a lot. I'm going to pick him to get this one done. And, yeah, man, that's going to wrap it up for me. Hope y'all boys enjoy. Let me know what you think about every fight in the comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.